ようこそ諸君、六軒島へ。何を怯えた顔をしておるのか、エヴァ。
Welcome to Rocketjima, and welcome you to another part of Umineko. They cry. Kinzo has come down to finally make his announcement, after most of his family didn't believe that he was even alive to begin with. Now he's come on out of the woodworks, out of the study, to make an announcement for the headship. This is the first time he's done this forever in any episode, but this is apparently Beato's trump card. Let's see how that goes. So to recap last time, real quick, we finished off the whole Angie Amakusa thing as they were coming to the island. We jumped a little over to Kasumi to see what she was doing, and she was carrying guns in a golf bag. Wait, that was Amakusa with the golf bag, but she was still carrying guns, okay? In aluminium foil. Just want to say aluminium. I don't know why I'm so pressed by that. I should not be that annoyed by that at all. It really does not matter that much. I can just keep saying the way I say it, and everyone else can say it wherever, however they say it. If you wanna go ahead and say aluminum, sure. Aluminum, that's ridiculous. Okay, anyway. So she's got the guns. She's ready to hunt down Angie. This is going to be Angie's last destination. Let's see how that goes. Anyway, back to the island. Battler and Beato fighting, and she brings out her trump card. And the family still arguing about whether Kinzo actually is alive or not. And them saying that whether he's alive or not doesn't matter, because if he's alive, we just prostrate to him. And if he's dead, we can continue with our strap. That was basically their plan. That's Kitty and Eva's plan. But now Kinzo's come out. It's Beato's trump card. Let's see what he plans to do. Alright. Welcome. Oh yeah, also a lot of you guys in the comments were giving extra context on things regarding the whole Rosa and Maria stuff that was happening a few parts back, so I really appreciate it, because the more context you guys gave, the more it actually helped defend Rosa. Whether more context defends Rosa or is against Rosa in that situation, that's up to you guys to decide. But I saw it as largely defending Rosa, considering, I mean, I feel like someone who's heavily accused, like super against their favor, at least seemingly, will always benefit from more context. I say always. A lot of times I feel like they benefit from more context in situations, and I feel like Rosa's being heavily, or at least you'll see it a lot differently. A lot of people see it differently once you play the devil's advocate role of, okay, yes, all these accusations exist and all that stuff, but is Rose actually that much of a person? Let's look on everything that's happening. Let's look at it as a whole. Let's go, step by step through everything. And then you realize, alright, maybe we shouldn't be that hard on Rosa. And so, at least for me, I'm very happy about that, because, I like Rosa, and I don't want to dislike Rosa's person, because I like Rosa's person. I do think she's a good human being, and but we'll leave it some other time though, because this part is not focused on Rosa, it's focused on Kinzo, so we'll continue on with that. But yeah, thank you for giving more context to the whole situation and bringing up some very good points for and against Rosa, whichever. Definitely great. Alright, let's keep reading.
そんな怯えてるなんて。お父様が大変お元気そうなのでほっとしただけで。
I'm just relieved to find you in excellent spirits, father. Kin's like, that's Cap, you're lying.
エヴァ、お前は相変わらず面白いな。クラウスとの賭けに負けて悔しいと素直に言えばよいのに。言えないよな。
Eva, you're as interesting as ever, aren't you? You might try honestly saying how frustrated you are at losing your bet with Cross. You can't say it, can you? Alright. Eva realized that their conversation during the day had indeed been an open book to Kinzo, and she turned red as she hung her head.
さてと、我が息子たち娘たち、そしてその伴侶の諸君。
I hope this isn't lagging too much for you guys watching. But I'm gonna read what he says and what they're saying as it comes up, just in case.
お前たちの就寝している我が財産と当主の継承について、今宵は重要な発表をしようと思う。
Tonight I shall make an important announcement regarding those things that you all have your hearts set upon, my fortune and the succession of the headship.
まず最初に、私はひどく失望していることを伝えようと思う。
Kinzo is disappointed.
それは今日まで誰にもあの碑文の謎を解くことができなかったということだ。
To this very day, not a single one of you has been able to solve the riddle of the epitaph. Eva surprisingly did last episode. So, and Rosa, hey, that's what I mean. I'm scared that as when people read this, I feel like maybe there's a chance to forget Rosa also solved it. But remember, Rosa solved it legitimately. She was like at most hours behind Eva when it comes to solving it. So, just saying, give Rosa the credit. Come on. Even though Kinzo said he was disappointed, a condescending smile, as though there was no way the likes of them could have solved it, rose to his face as he cast an eye over each and every one of them.
Hmm. あれを解けた者に全てを譲り渡すつもりでいた。しかし今日までに誰も解くことができず、我が全ては誰にも継承されることなく、ここに至っているわけだ。
So you had been planning to hand everything over to the person who could solve it, but you also didn't expect anybody to solve it because it was too difficult? Interesting.
情けない。
Condescending smile. Look at those eyes. Oof.
お前たちの中にそれを受け継ぐ資格を持つ人間が現れなかったことが、私は心底残念であり、そして情けなくざまあないと思っている。
Okay, so he finds it pathetic and shameful and disappointing that not one of them has come forward with the qualification to succeed him. The siblings hung their heads in silence. Of course, they would have solved it if they could. They had blown their chance, and none of them could deny that. But even so, it was just so hard to riddle. Hey, I haven't solved it either. See, no matter how hard I try as of right now, I can't solve it. I'm not good enough.
私は碑文の謎にて我が継承者を選ぶことを、ここに注目することを宣言する。
Therefore, this is huge! I'm proclaiming here and now that I will suspend the use of the epitaph's riddle as a method of choosing my successor? So no more Eva Trice chances this episode. We could have seen a Rosa Trice. Rosa Trice, oh, that would have been great, you know? Eva Trice, no, not this episode. No Rudolfice, no more Rudolice. Rudice, let's go with that. Rudice, and no Croice, Crossice, I don't know. No more of none of those. Alright? No Batice, no Georgice, no Jessice, and no Mariace. And of course, I doubt he's gonna give the succession to the sermon, so there's that. So, okay. Time's up. So this is Beato's trump card. This time's up, okay. This is game over.
お前たちには等しく公平にチャンスがあったはずなのに、それが今ここについえた。
You all had an equal and fair chance, and that has now collapsed. It truly sounded like Kinzo's making a victory proclamation.
ならば当主は長男のクラウスに継承されるのか。
Doesn't seem like so, by the way you were speaking about him when you're with him in the study. So I don't think you're gonna give it to Cross.
答えはノーである。
The answer is no, Kolava! So it's not gonna be Cross. I mean, I feel like we kinda knew that. It kinda seemed to be that way.
Eh?
What? Cross is like, ugh.
分かっているよな、クラウス。
You're pathetic? Is that what you're gonna say?
お前には確かに次期当主という肩書きを与えた。だが、お前はそれに溺れただけだ。次期当主というのはどういう意味かわかるか？
I certainly did give you the title of successor, but you did nothing with it but get drunk on it. Do you know what it means to be the successor?
お父さんの後を継ぐという意味です。
It means to be the one who will succeed you, father.
違う！
Chico! Chico!
次期当主というのは当主が約束されたものではない。
The successor isn't something that's guaranteed by the current head at all.
いいか、クラウス。二度と教えないからよく聞けよ。次期当主というのはな、自分以外にも当主を狙う奴がいたら、その花を徹底的にへし折って二度と逆らえないようにしてやる奴のことを言うのだ。
The successor, see, is what you call someone who finds everyone else who's after the headship, thoroughly breaks their noses, and makes it so that they can never disobey him again.
これは何も当主だけのことではない。金についても言える。金持ちというのは金を持っているやつのことではない。自分より金を持っているやつすべてを叩き潰し、そして誰よりも金をかき集められるやつのことを言うのだ。
It can also be said of money. A rich person means someone who crushes everyone who has more money than himself, and who scrabbles together more money than anyone else.
才能も同じ。天才とは才能に秀でたやつのことではない。自分より秀でたやつをすべて叩き潰し、自分を天才とすべての人間に呼ばせることを力とカリスマで強要できるやつを指している。
It's the same with talent. It means a person who crushes everyone with more talent than themselves. A person who can coerce all of the people to call them that by using their strength and charisma.
お前はそのすべてにおいて勘違いしているのだよ。だから次期当主の器ではないのだよ。
You have a mistaken impression when it comes to all of these things, so you aren't the right caliber to be my successor.
勉強になります。
Now I have learned. Perhaps that was precisely Kinzo's philosophy. Though it could also be taken for a rant, it was a result of faithfully carrying out the philosophy of his, that Kinzo had raised the Ushima family to such prosperous heights. It may be hard to imagine after his immersion in the occult in recent years, but it was that brutal aggressiveness that was Ushima's Kinzo's charisma and aura.
このような不甲斐ないクラウスに後ろ宮家のすべてを継承する資格などない。ならばエヴァ、ルドルフ、ローザの3人にはあるのか？
So Cross is not qualified. In that case, is Eva, Rudolph, or Rosa qualified?
これもノーである。
that is also no koearu.
自分の謎を解けずさりとてクラウスを引きずり下ろす策も労せずお前たちにできたのは3人寄せ集めで共同戦線を張ってクラウスから金をせびろうとしたことだけ
You're not able to solve the riddle. All the three of you could manage to do was put together a united front to try to extort money from Kraus.
しかもその策も浅はかそのものクラウス一人を追い詰めることさえできやしない情けないことこの上なし
And even that scheme was thoughtless. You can't even corner Kraus all by himself. There could be nothing more shameful. Not just those three, they also had help from their partners. I mean, Hideyoshi and Kiria. Kiria too, genius as she is. Still couldn't do it. And I mean, Kraus had Natsui, I guess, but I mean, how much of a help is Natsui, especially compared to Kiria? I'm taking intelligence. I'm taking Kiria over Natsui. That's just me. Although loyalty, I'll give Natsui that. She's proven herself to be very, very loyal. So.
次期当主の座をどんなことをしてでも奪い取ろうという貪欲さが足りぬ欲しいもののためにはいかなる犠牲も払いどこまでも貪欲となるべし強欲となるべし幸運の女神は貪欲なる者にこそ母えぬ
Oh, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about what Kinzo is just saying right here. But before I say that, to be fair to Kiria regarding loyalty, she did wait. She was first with Rudolph, and then when Asumi ended up marrying Rudolph, she did wait all the way until Asumi went away. I guess cursed her to death, so that she could get back with Rudolph. So Kiria was kind of loyal to Rudolph too, to just want to be with him in the very, very end, even if it meant cursing his previous wife to death. That was kind of crazy. Well, I mean, whether we're supposed to believe that actually, it was her curse, or whether it actually worked or not, I mean, whatever. But I mean, she got to Rudolph in the end after many, many years, after decades even, so, yeah. But okay, I want to talk about what Kinzo's saying here. So there's two things he says here. You lack the avarice to steal, I hope I'm pronouncing avarice correctly. You lack the avarice to steal away the position of successor by any means necessary. And now here, he says something to go a bit more in depth to that. He says, in order to get what you want, you should pay all sacrifices, be covetous, avaricious to the last. Be covetous and avaricious to the last. I find this very interesting. Kinzo has had this philosophy of paying all sacrifices since the very, very beginning. Since like the start of episode 1. He's had this sacrifice mindset of like, I'm giving everything away for Beato. Everything away. I'm gonna sacrifice everything. My family, my inheritance, my money, all of it to see Beatrice one more time. I wanna see her smile one more time. And every time he's talked about sacrificing everything he owns, everything he's worked up to in his life. This is an old man, you can tell. Just look at him. He's, 70 plus, 80 years old. However old he is, he's old. And he's willing to sacrifice everything he's obtained in his life. Because he wants to be fortunate. And then he says, fortune smiles upon the greedy. So, very much a Mammon mindset here. Which again, Mammon has had a very big influence this episode with Angie and stuff like that. And her being the sin of greed and everything. So Kinzo's actually for Mammon's mindset. Being greedy is good. And this episode is also talking about how being greedy is not a bad thing. It can also be shown to be a good thing, and it's shown that multiple times that hey, being greedy, in real life you hear about how being greedy is a bad thing all the time. Oh, don't be too greedy. Make sure you appreciate what you have and be grateful for what you have. You hear that all the time in real life. But Umineko here in episode 4 is bringing this twist of like, well, there's nothing wrong with wanting more. There's nothing wrong with being greedy. In fact, it's the people who are greedy who will get fortunate. They're the ones who will win in the end. The people who have that drive, that strength, that willpower to always try to get what they want. Rather than people who are just content with what they have. And that's another topic that's been brought up with Angie again, of just being content with what you have. Will you get will you be fortunate with that? Are you content with what you have, or do you strive for more? Right? Angie said that, or Amakusa said that with Angie, about how, you know, being self-content is in a way any human's life journey is to be content with oneself. But now Kinzo's going against that mindset, saying, nah, you can't just stay there and be content. You have to be risky. You have to pay all the sacrifices and be greedy so you can be fortunate. That's what you need to do. That's the sort of mindset you should have. So Kinzo's here siding with Mamon in that sort of topic, while Amakusa's kind of contrasting that with Angie of like, nah, the aim is to be content with oneself. Don't be, you know what I mean? And that's interesting. And Sakutaro or was it Mari? I'm not sure. Did say that that yeah, being greedy has good qualities of it. It's implied with greediness the quality of hard work, of motivation, of drive. That's implied in greedy, and those aren't necessarily bad things to have. It's when you take greediness too far that it becomes a bad thing, is what we're saying. So again, all of this is very interesting. All of it is very philosophical. So I mean, yeah, you should. Umineko when they cry, you could also just call it philosophy. Philosophical discussions, the visual novel or something. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, again, once I'm done with this visual novel, I know for a fact, guaranteed, I could write a whole freaking thesis on it if you're a freaking philosophy major, I'm sure once you're done with Umineko, you can literally write a thesis on it. I've already discussed so many things in the visual novel. I mean, if you look at my Umineko playlist, it's over 100 hours, hundreds of hours of just me reading Umineko, but also talking about all the different philosophical aspects of it and everything. I do, generally think you could definitely write the whole huge thing about just the different philosophical discussions that Umineko has brought up. And I've already mentioned how I think it brings it up more than at least the Higurashi anime did. I'm not sure about the Higurashi visual novel, because I haven't read it yet, but the Higurashi anime for sure, while it did bring up a lot of philosophical discussions, naturally, that's the sort of nature a Higurashi sort of story is. Umineko, I feel like, has taken that even more with the visual novel, because I feel like I have to specify that, because I know for a fact if I went to read the visual novel of Higurashi, I would find the same sort of thing, but because the author surely has that sort of trend going on with it. But even then, that's not to say that Higurashi anime doesn't have any philosophical talks at all. I mean, there's a lot of things to get into in Higurashi. I'm not going to get into them now because I'm reading Umineko, but I mean, I'm sure you can write a whole thesis in Higurashi alone. That's just the anime. Forget the visual novel. The anime, you can write a whole thing. And I'm saying this, and I'm not even done with episode 4. There's 8 episodes on Predator Umineko. I think 8. I'm not even done with the 4th, and there's already so much to talk about what they've discussed here. So I really can't wait to finish this and just make even after I'm done with Umineko, I'm just gonna say this right now. Even after I'm done reading all the episodes, I'm sure to make more videos where I just discuss it. I'm sure I'll be fascinated by the story by the end, and just make so many videos of just like discussing everything that's happened and seeing it all from, obviously, because we're gonna get more context after finally knowing what the riddle means. Oh, I cannot wait to find out what the riddle means. When we find out what the riddle means, what's really been going on, everything, all the mysteries. I'm sure I'm going to make plenty of videos, and it's going to be glorious. I mean, I'm already going to make a huge, I say huge, but a whole video after I'm done with episode 4. Just this episode, I'm going to make a whole theory video and just discussion video and all that, and I'm going to gather all my thoughts and put it out before I start with episode 5. I will make a video like that, for sure. And I'll actually try to take notes and everything from what I remember from all the episodes. Episode 1, this is what happened, make quick notes about it, and then just like discuss it, maybe discuss the riddle a little bit here and there, discuss the magic stuff, discuss Beatrice, all the different aspects and everything. I mean, obviously, I know I won't get into everything. Obviously, I can't, unless it's a freaking 12-hour video. I'm sure I will not be able to get into everything I wish I could, because this visual novel is just so stacked. There's so many things to really get into, but I'll try to get into the main bits here and there, and we'll see. But anyway, let's keep reading. I'm really interested in what Kinzo's saying here.
その野生の精神がないお前たち3人にクラウス同様に継承の資格などありはしない。
You three who lack that wild spirit are as unfit for the succession as Cross. Even the rest had no words to respond with, and they couldn't figure out what it was that Kinzo was about to say. Was Kinzo actually planning to proclaim that no one would succeed the head? If so, that would work to Eva, Rose, and Rudolph's advantage. Because the only thing the siblings would ultimately need to do is coordinate everything between them after Kinzo's death and split the inheritance evenly. On the contrary, if a specific person's name was raised and proclaimed to be the one to succeed the head, that would surely be more troublesome. But would Kinzo really say something that would benefit any of the four siblings after lambasting them so much?
まさか誰にも引き継がないからと財産を全て慈善団体にでも寄付するとか言い出すつもりじゃないでしょうね。
No way! Kinzo will not do that. That is not in his character. He's going to say something like, oh, I'm gonna risk all the money for the witch or something. He's donate to charity does not sound like something Kinzo will do. Not all of his wealth. So Eva saying, in case they didn't catch, Eva said that you don't think he's going to say that because no one will succeed him, he'll donate all of his fortune to charity or something, right?
お父様ならやりかねないという恐怖はあるわ。
I'm afraid I won't put it past father. Hey, I mean, you're his daughters, you know him better than anyone. But at least from my POV, I don't think he's gonna say that. I don't think he'd give it to charity. I don't think he's that sort of person.
頭に血が上ってるだけさ。しばらくは聞き流すしかねえ。
For the time being, we're just gonna have to hear him out. Says Rudolph.
ではお父さん、次期当主についてはどういうお考えをお持ちですか？
Well then, father, what thoughts do you have regarding the next head? Kinzo. Cross. Give me head. I don't know why I said that. I don't know. It just made sense with the what Cross said, but it didn't make sense because the joke was horrible. Leave me be.
お前たちに完全に失望した以上、私は誰に引き継ぐ気も失った。
Also, what I just said is disgusting. I just realized that what I just said is incest. I didn't even think about that. I don't know why. I mean, especially because he called him father. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry for making that disgusting comment. I apologize. I did not mean it. I was trying to do so. I need to shut up.
よって後宮家はこれで終わる。
Interesting. The Ishima family will end here.
私の代で終わりだ。
It ends with my generation. Okay.
そういうわけには。
Surely we must, says Cross, and his head's tilted now. I've never seen Cross's head being tilted like this before. That's a new sprite.
後宮家などあの震災の時にとっくに滅んでおるわ。今の後宮家など私がつかの間だけ見ている黄金の幻想に過ぎぬのだ。私が夢より覚めれば終わる程度のもの。
The Ishima family was ruined long ago in the earthquake. The current Ishima family is nothing but my own short-lived vision of gold, the likes of which will end when I awaken from my slumber. I have no idea what he's talking about here. At the end, awaken from his slumber. I don't know what he means by that, but let's continue.
この世などすべては夢、幻。
This world is not but a dream, an illusion. What the hell are you on about?
生など死という目覚めの前には白昼夢と同じよ。
Life is but a daydream before the awakening called death. Okay. Jesus Christ style or what? Also, does that mean that, okay, you die here and then you go to the Golden Land? Is that it, Kinzo? Is that what you're trying to say? Golden Land? The awakening to the Golden Land? What?
ああ、そうだ。元よりそうだったのだ。 私が死ぬ時に全てを失うのがベアトリーチェとの契約、そして呪い。
Okay.
そうはいくか、ベアトリーチェ。
That I should lose everything when I die was Beatrice's contract and her curse. You think that will work, Beato?
お前を捕らえるのはこの私だ。
I'll be known to capture you, okay? So he's proclaiming that. Even though he's captured her before, at the very least in episode 3 he has. So...
今宵、それは現実となるだろう。
Tonight that shall become reality, okay? Okay. For a while, Kinzo was overcome with cackling and his eyes bulged. Whenever he talked about Beatrice, he was always eloquent and filled with obsession.
お前たちのような愚かなる息子たちなどまさに白昼夢。初めからいなかったも同然よ。
Foolish sons and daughters such as yourself are truly a daydream. It is as though you were never there from the beginning. Well,
消えろ、覚めろ。真実の私のまどろみと共に消え去ってしまえ。私を継承するに値する何者も築き上げてこなかった出来損ないどもめ。
fade away along with the dose of my true self. You failures that have not built up anything that makes you worthy to succeed me. Okay.
金蔵さん、
Not just like, hey, Kinzo, what's up?
よろしいか。
If I may.
何か我が友よ。
What is it, my friend? Nandro nervously raised his hand, asking to speak. Kinzo permitted it.
金蔵さんの気持ちもわかる。子供たちを愛するがゆえに大きな期待を寄せ、それゆえに期待を裏切られたような気持ちになる親心。同じく子供や孫を持つ身としてよくわかります。
Because you love your children, you expect a lot of them. And as a parent and grandparent myself, I understand the parental affection that can make you feel as though these expectations were betrayed.
しかし、金蔵さんは非凡だ。天才だ。そんな金蔵さんに追いついて当然というんでは、ちょいとひどすぎるんじゃないかね。
However, you're extraordinary, Kinzo. Isn't it a little too harsh to say that it's only natural for them to catch up to you?
それでもそんな金蔵さんに追いつこうとは。クラウスさんもエヴァさんもルドルフさんもローザさんも、そしてその伴侶の皆さんもよく頑張っています。
And even so, the siblings and all their partners are doing their very best to catch up.
ほほう。
Oh, 2 holes? Okay.
よく頑張ってどの程度の金を稼ぎ上げたというのか。事業にことごとく失敗して借金を抱え、未だに私のすねをかじろうという間抜けどものどこがよく頑張っていると言えるのか。
These Hallfits, who fail in each and every one of their enterprises and become burdened with debt, and still try to sponge off me, are doing their very best. Exactly how?
この世のすべては金として結晶しているのだ。それがつかめぬということはこの世をつかんでおらぬということ。魂がこの世をしっかりつかんでおらぬということは生きるに値せぬということだ。消えろ。我が生と現実から消え去ってしまえ。
Interesting. This has begun from my life and reality. Are there multiple lives and realities, Kinzo? Another thing he says that money is a crystallization of everything in this world. Beato in episode 2 mentioned how love is the single element of everything in the world. So, if you cannot grasp money, you cannot grasp the world. If a soul cannot keep a tight grasp on this world, it doesn't deserve to live. Okay.
それは暴論です。その理論から言ったら私だって生きていてはいけないことになる。
That argument is unreasonable. Without logic, even I would not be allowed to live.
そんな私でも金蔵さんと過ごしたチェスの時間は共に価値あるものだったと信じていますぞ。 世の中お金で買えないものもたくさんあることを金蔵さん自身が誰よりもご存知のはずだ。
You should know better than anyone else that there are many things in this world that money cannot buy. Hey! Potential energy formula. Thank you, Kinzo, for relaying it one more time for us. Who else has relayed it? I believe Cross and Angie have also relayed it. MGH. Mass times the gravity acceleration constant on Earth. At some points in the Earth, not everywhere in the Earth. It's not exactly 9.81, but it's a constant of 9.81 meters per second squared. And H, which is the height, the distance, potential, the difference in the distance. Let's go, MGH. Thank you, Kinzo, for relaying that for us. Thank you very much, making us remind of our physics class. Thank you very much. As the siblings motionlessly hung their heads, they cheered Nanjo on inside. They cheered Nanjo on inside their hearts. Not one of the siblings could offer their opinion to Kinzo in a rage, but Nanjo alone was allowed to, as Kinzo's close friend. Even though Kinzo had raged so fiercely, after being admonished by Nanjo, he nodded several times as though in agreement. His surprisingly docile side might have seemed cute, but there was no one who could laugh.
確かに息子さんたちは金蔵さんほどの財は築き上げられなかったかもしれない。まあそれでも私から見れば羨ましいほどのお金持ちではありますがな。
Well, even so, from my point of view, your children are rich enough to make me jealous. Oh, they're definitely rich enough to make anyone jealous. What the hell?
しかしお金だけでなくお金では買えないたくさんのものを築き上げました。
They have also built up a great many things that money can't buy. Like what? Children? Great children?
それについて言えば金蔵さんにも負けないくらいです。
When it comes to that, they're no inferior to you.
ほう。
Oh! A hoe from Kinzo. Okay, one hoe.
金で買えぬ何を積み上げたというのか。
And what are you saying they have built up that money cannot buy?
幸せです。
幸せです。
家族です。
家族です。Family.
彼らは素晴らしい伴侶を見つけ、子を産み、それぞれの幸せな家庭を築かれています。あなたの一族を繁栄させ、そして孫を連れ帰ってきてくれました。
Your family is thriving thanks to them, and they have brought back grandchildren for you.
孫はいいですぞ。
Grandchildren are good!
私たち年寄りは、私たちには見ることもかなわぬ新しき時代を生きるだろう若き孫に、無限の未来を想像するのです。
Except they all die, so... Tough luck, Nanjo.
それは老境の唯一の楽しみではありませんか。
So Nanjo's saying that we older people can look at those young grandchildren who will live on into a new era that we will not be given a chance to see, and we can imagine endless futures for them. Isn't that the sole entertainment for old age?
思い出しなさい、金蔵さん。彼らが初めて孫を連れて帰ってくれた時の喜びを、息子さんたちは、そして孫たちは、金蔵さんの偉業を後の世まで伝え、模範としてくれることでしょう。それはお金がいくらあろうとも孤独なる身にはなせぬことです。
Your children and your grandchildren will relate your great works to future generations, and they will model themselves after you. That is something that a single person cannot accomplish no matter how much money they have. The siblings all nodded in agreement. Of course they did. Certainly, there had been a time when Kinzo had looked at his newly born grandchildren with happiness in his eyes. Back when he still had some sanity in his heart. Sanity, that's how you see it? Okay. So he's insane now, is what you're saying? However, was there any human warmth still left inside Kinzo's heart?
それはつまり私が成した巨万の富の代わりに金を儲ける代わりに孫を儲けたとそういうわけか。
In exchange for the vast riches I created, instead of gaining money, I have gained my grandchildren.
え、そういう意味では。
That's what I...
私が稼ぎ上げた数百億という財産の代わりに息子たちは一人ずつ孫を設けたというわけか。
In exchange for the several tens of billions in wealth that I've amassed, I've gained a single grandchild from each of my children.
それは素晴らしい。
Subarashi.
つまりは100億を投じて命を一つ生み出したと。
Soera. Sorewa. Subarashi.
そういうわけだ。
I've created a single life at a cost of 10 billion yen.
これは面白い。錬金術的に考えて実に面白い例えではないか。
Taking of it from the perspective of alchemy truly makes for an interesting analogy. Agree?
ほう、なんと価値ある孫たちなのか。
What valuable grandchildren. Ho. Okay, one ho. Okay.
素晴らしい、素晴らしい。そうなのか、クラウス。お前の娘には100億の価値があるというのか。
Is your daughter worth 10 billion? So for reference, 10 billion yen is $100 million. Is Cross's daughter worth 10 billion yen? What's Cross gonna reply to that? Cross couldn't answer instantly. It wasn't that he didn't have confidence in his daughter, it was because he didn't have a clue what Kinzo was trying to test with this question. But when Natsu was then pressed for an answer, she responded, breaking Cross's silence with an answer of her own interpretation.
はい。
Yes!
ジェシカは100億のお金を積まれても手放せない娘です。
Jessica's a daughter who I wouldn't let go of even for 10 billion yen. Respect Natsu. Like I said, Natsu, one thing she does have is loyalty.
その意味において、お金では数えられない価値があると信じています。
In that sense, I believe she has a value that can't be counted with money.
ほう、
One ho from Kinzo.
100億の価値があると言い切るか。ほうほう。
Double hoes from Kinzo.
エヴァはどうか。お前のところのジョージはどうだ。
Eva's absolutely going to say yes about her George. Because she loves George more than anything. She wants to make sure George succeeds the headship, right? That's her wish. That's why she became the way that she became at the end of episode 3. And with Angie and stuff like that. So, she's going to say yes. Given the way Natsu had chosen to answer, there was naturally no doubt as to what Eva's answer would be. Yeah. Even though Eva should have known better than to respond to this kind of provocative question, she did so as well.
お父様、ジョージには100億の、いいえ、それ以上の価値があります。
It's only natural that Eva would say this. George is worth 10 billion. No, even more than that.
それはお金で買えないという抽象的な意味ではありません。
Oh, you know, he's literally worth 10 billion. if someone kidnaps him, that's going to be the that's going to be his price.
ジョージは必ずや自らの価値に等しいだけの財産を築き上げるでしょう。お父様の偉業を継ぐにふさわしい孫となるはずです。
I'm sure he'll become a grandson worthy of carrying on your great works. I wonder what Rudolph's reply is going to be to this. I think Rudolph and Kiria will reply differently than Eva, Natsu, and Cross did. But we'll see, we'll see. Eva sent a glance at Hideyoshi and Natsu that said, like a fiddle. Okay, let's see how that goes. After hearing Eva's answer, Natsu was about to add more praise for her daughter, but stopped at a glare from Cross. Yeah.
なるほど。ならばルドルフはどうか。
Now I'm interested. What's Rudolph going to say about Battler? This is so interesting. Here we go, y'all.
お前のところのバトラはどうだという
What
のか。
about you, Rudolph? What about your Battler?
うちのバトラーはジョージ君
Yes. Yes. This is why I love Rudolph, man. So, in case this didn't catch, I really hope it did. So, Rudolph says, compared to George Kun, there's nothing about Battler I can brag about. I love that reply from Rudolph. He's just keeping it real. He's just like, alright. I love it. Man. Rudolph's great. I was so much about Rudolph was gonna answer, and he did not disappoint. But he's not even done talking. Let's see what he's gonna say from here now. Oh my god. Oh my god. I was just talking about ransoms of kidnapping Jessica and George, and now Rudolph's talking. Me and Rudolph have similar wavelength, you know. I was just talking about kidnapping Jessica and you know, her ransom being worth more than 10 billion. And he's now bringing up the literal worth of it. Okay. Or was it with Eva? I think it was with Eva and George actually. I talked about the ransom. Kidnapping George. But okay. If he was kidnapping, we were threatened with a ransom of 10 billion. I feel like sticking a bone to the guy and letting them have him. Okay. So Rudolph just saying it like that. Alright, Rudolph's the only one that stuck out here from all the families saying that. Yeah, nah. Battery ain't all that. He ain't worth 10 billion. Go ahead. And Kiria giggles, she's with it. Although Kiria also sees Asumi every time she looks at Battler. And you know, because she has her jealousy going on, so... On top of that, he's an idiot and reckless. Oh man, I'm loving Rudolph's answer. I love this answer from Rudolph. Rudolph's great. He dreams way too big and talks about things he hasn't got a snowball's hope in hell of doing. I guess in that respect, he's a super idiot, worth the equivalent of 10 billion normal idiots. But you look at the average person who hasn't even got the balls to be an idiot, and I'll bet that guy's gonna try things that 10 billion of them couldn't do put together. Well, I'm pretty sure he'll fall flat on his face. The world isn't easy. Okay. I really like this answer from Rudolph. He did not disappoint with his answer, you know. He did not disappoint. I was very interested in what it was gonna be, and he did not disappoint. Because we knew he'd answer differently from the rest. But yeah, he did not disappoint. Now, Rosa, after recent events, of course, we are going to be interested in her answer as well, naturally. But Rudolph is the one that sticks out as of right now for me. Okay. But at the very least, there's no doubt in my mind that watching over his life will be more entertaining than looking at 10 billion average people. You know what? As someone who's watching his life, Rudolph, it has been very entertaining. It has been very entertaining, so I'll give you that one. You have an entertaining child right there. Eva clicked her tongue at the clever style of speech that will probably match Kinzo's taste. Apparently Rudolph had been after this himself. He grinned back at her. Aha!
Maria wa douka?
What of Maria? Alright. This is obviously going to be interesting for a multitude of reasons. Let's see Rosa's answer.
マリアは私の可愛いたった一人の娘です。お金の価値で測れるものではありません。それだけです。
I expected a better answer, but I guess that's fair for the current situation and pressure that Rosa's been put in, that she would answer like this. So Rosa's saying, Maria is the only daughter, her value cannot be measured with money. That is all.
なるほど。夢と未来、奇跡と可能性は我が魔力の源泉だ。
Yes, you've said that in the past.
希望をなくしていかなる魔法も力を持ちはしない。
No magic holds power without hope. Okay.
すでに凡客であることを証明してしまったお前たちには何を期待することもかなわないが。なるほど。孫たちには未来の可能性があり、 魔法的奇跡を期待する価値はあり得るというわけか。
So, Kinzo's children have proven to be average, but he's saying that his grandchildren do have future possibilities, and it is possible that they may be worth hoping for a magical miracle from.
それをもって100億以上の価値と言ってみせるなら、わからぬでもない。
You say that this makes them worth more than 10 billion? I could understand that. When Kinzo got in a rage, he wouldn't let anyone talk back. But even so, while yelling by himself, he would sometimes convince himself of something all of his own accord and change his own opinion. That's what this felt like to the siblings. Apparently, even though Kinzo had become absolutely fed up with his shoddy children and had cast them away as being unfit for the inheritance of his title or his fortune, he wasn't so sure about his grandchildren. At this rate, he might soon say that the inheritance would go to his grandchildren instead of the siblings. As the siblings sat in fear of what their fickle and short-tempered father would suddenly think of next, they carefully watched his every move.
考えを少し改めよ。
Let me change my thinking a little. Alright, what's your thinking now, Kinzo?
お前たちに我が全てを継承する気は全くない。
I have absolutely no desire to see you people inherit all that is mine.
しかし、孫たちの誰かにその資格があるかどうかを問うのはなかなかに面白いことだ。いつまでも子供だと思っておったが、ひょっとすると私を驚かせるような原石のきらめきを見せてくれるかもしれん。
I've been thinking of them as kids who never grew up, but there is a chance that they will show me a glimmer of unpolished brilliance that will surprise me.
そしてそれを期待し試すのは、なるほど。我が余生最後の道楽としても捨てがたい。
And testing them for that would be, yes, that would be hard to pass over as I found diversion for my last remaining days.
さて、これはどうしたものか。
Well then, what shall I do? What shall you do indeed, Kinzo? That's up to you.
ジョージならお父様の後を継ぐにふさわしいと
Of course
私
you
は
would.
自信を持って推薦できます。
Of course you do. So I was saying, I can recommend George with confidence as a fitting successor for you, father. Eva claimed that right away. Natsu looked like she was about to follow along, but Cross gave her a look telling her to restrain herself, so she swallowed her words. Ah,
勇ましいではないか。
how bold.
では、こうしよう。
Let us do this.
後宮家の家督と財産のすべてを受け継ぐ資格があるかどうか、孫たちに個別に問おうではないか。
I will individually question the grandchildren to see whether they are qualified to inherit the Ishima family headship and all of its wealth. Man, this is taking a very interesting twist.
お父様
Father?
しかし
Skosh!
それはお前たちの誰かに間接的に家督を引き継ぐという意味ではない。お前たちにはすでに失望しているのだ。
I do not mean by this that one of you will receive the headship indirectly. I have already lost hope in every one of you.
お前たちに与えるものは今や何もない。何もな。私が問うのは孫たちだ。そして引き継ぐかもしれないのも孫たちだ。それを決して勘違いするな。
The ones I will question are the grandchildren, and the ones who might succeed me are the grandchildren. Make absolutely sure that you don't mistake this. Are we clear?
お父さんの判断に従います。
I'll follow your decision, father.
同じく親父の決定に従うぜ。なあ、兄貴。
I'll go along with what you determine. And you, Aneki?
もちろんよ。
Chiroyo.
お父様が賢明な判断をされると信じています。
I believe that you'll make a wise judgment, Father.
私もお父様の判断に従います。
I will also abide by your decision. Okay, so they're all with it. Okay.
孫たちをどのように試すかは考えよう。そしてそれはお前たちには今さら関係のない話だ。当主継承とお前たちはもはや何の関係もないのだから。
So think of how I test grandchildren that no longer has anything to do with any of you, because you no longer have anything to do with the succession of the head.
だからこの場ではお前たちに関係のあるもう一つの話をしようではないか。
So why don't I use this opportunity to talk about something else that does have something to do with you?
もう一つの話。
Something else?
それこそが今宵の、そして後ろ宮家最後の親族会議の本当の理由だ。
That is the true reason for tonight's final Ishiruma family conference. Now, considering this is the last episode of the question arcs, does it mean final as in final, or final as in universe final? As in they're all going to die tonight final, but we're still going to get more family conferences. I was in episode 5 and 6 and etc. I mean, episode 5 and 6 and etc. we'll get the answer arcs, but you get what I mean.
お前たちに求めるのは議論でも意見でもない。我が儀式に協力を求めるためだ。
What I demand from you is neither discussion nor your opinions. I demand cooperation for my ritual.
儀式？
Ritual? Riddle's confused.
静かに。お父様がお話をなさっている最中よ。
Quiet. Father is talking now. Rudolph and the rest automatically knitted their brows at the occult-like word ritual. Was he talking about starting a strange ritual involving Beatrice's resurrection again? He was demanding that they help? What in the world was he planning to start? In the past, he had carried out many eccentricities that he called by the same name, such as lighting a strange incense and filling the whole mansion with the stench. To the siblings, our ritual was nothing more than one of the aged Kinzo's obnoxious hobbies.
お父さん、儀式とは一体。
Father, just what do you mean by...
私たちに協力できることなら何でもご協力します。ねえ、ローザ。
We'll assist you in any way that we can, right, Rosa? Eva targeting Rosa, because she's the youngest. Alright.
ええ。
Rosa goes along with it. Yeah.
でも、一体何を？
But what in the world is it?
私が碑文に刻んだ通りの儀式だ。ベアトリーチェを蘇らせ、黄金鏡の扉を開く儀式である。
As I inscribed it in the epitaph, it is a ritual to revive Beatrice and open the door to the Golden Land.
肉体の檻を逃れ、私の指の隙間を嘲笑うようにすり抜けるあの魔女を
What?
今度こそ捕らえ、
Very interesting. Let's keep reading here for a second though.
屈服させる私の最大の秘術だ。そのために13人もの命を生贄に捧げねばならぬがな。
Very, very interesting. So Kinzo's saying that witch escaped her cage of flesh and sneeringly slipped through my fingers. This is very interesting because that she escaped her cage of flesh for the first time, at least from what we saw in episode 3. That was the first time in any episode that we saw Beato escape her cage of flesh when she died with Rosa. Does that mean that she died with Rosa in every timeline and Rosa's been silent about it in every episode until now? But the thing that's weird about that is because when they're talking about the umbrella in episodes 1 and 2, Rosa never mentioned how, oh, but Beato died 19 years ago. Only in episode 3 did she start mentioning how, but wait a minute, I killed Beato 19 years ago. And then we saw a flashback to how that happened. So now he's saying again, oh yeah, Beato escaped her cage of flesh. Which, that happened when she died in her human form, in her homunculus form. In episode 3, we saw that, and then she escaped. She still got stuck in the island because of the talisman put in the shrine next to the island, in the Torii Gate. But she was still in the island until, obviously Shannon broke it in episode 2. We saw Shannon breaking it. Very interesting now that he's saying that it's happened again. So in this town, in episode 4's timeline again, that has happened here too. So what does Rosa have to say about that? Did Rosa also kill her in this timeline? I say kill her, but lead her to an accident this time as well? Or what? She escaped her cage of flesh. Okay. Alright, let's keep reading for now though. He must sacrifice 13 people for that person to subjugate Beato. So that's his real goal. His real goal, not as much to see Beato smile one more time, but to subjugate her, to capture her.
13人もの生贄は容易には集まらん。しかし今宵は親族会議。これだけの大人数が六軒島に集まった。この儀式が行えるのは今日を置いて他にないのだ。
It is not easy to gather 13 sacrifices, but tonight is a family conference. There could be no other way, no other day in which to carry out this ritual. Taken literally, it could only sound as though he was telling them to die as sacrifices for his disturbing ritual. Ridiculous. Baka bakashi. Was this some kind of metaphor? But they didn't even have a clue what he was trying to tell them through this analogy. The siblings whispered together, wondering what Kinzo was saying.
親父は何を言ってるんだ。いつもの悪い病気か。
Is it his usual bad sickness?
だろうな。しばらく黙って聞いてやる。
Keep quiet for now and hear him out. So, what's going on in her head? Is what's going on? Is her head filled with how she killed Beato 19 years ago? Is that what she's thinking about, rather than this ritual, or what's going on with Rosa?
ごめんなさい、お父様。どういう意味でおっしゃられているのかわかりかねます。
I'm sorry, Father. I don't understand how you mean that.
何が分かりかねるというのか。私は至極単純に話している。ベアトリーチェを蘇らせる儀式のためにこの島にいる人間から13人を選び生贄に捧げようと言っている。
Interesting. Let's read it again, and then I'll talk. I've said that I shall choose 13 people from among the humans on this island and offer them as sacrifices for a ritual to revive Beatrice. The thing that I find the most interesting about this entire sentence is how Kinzo said, I shall choose 13 people. Choose. Choose? Kinzo will choose? It has been very vague or kind of gone back and forth whether the sacrifices are chosen by someone or whether they are luckily brought about by some demon's roulette. Beata's in multiple occasions either threatened to kill people in the sacrifice or told them that they would spare, told others that she would spare people based on different wishes, right? But then on other occasions she's also said, or Kinzo himself has also said that, oh, it's all decided by the demon's roulette. Even Ronoves said this. Oh, it's decided by the demon's roulette. The demon's roulette decides who will be sacrificed and whatnot, right? And now Kinzo's again, he's saying that he will choose 13 people. Even though Kinzo himself has said before that the demon's roulette chooses the 13 people. So, for some reason, the visual novel, or at least it's shown us different ways that this ritual goes down. Is it this way or is it the other way? It has not been 100% clear, and I find that interesting. Why has it never been 100% clear? Just like, oh, it's definitely the ritual. But then other times, we see it as someone saying that they will choose, they themselves will choose the sacrifices, so they get to choose who the sacrifices are. And other times they're like, it's a demon's roulette. Beato's done this, and now Kinzo's doing this. Does someone get any choice? Is it all luck? Is it just a demon's roulette? I don't know, but I'll keep it in the back of my mind that are that they have been kind of back and forth about these sacrifices and whether they're choices or whether they're roulette luck, I guess.
何の価値もないお前たちも我が儀式の生贄としてなら大いに役に立てるというわけだ。
Even worthless people like you can be very useful as sacrifices for my ritual.
これは冗談でも何でもない。我が人生の最後に欲する最後の賭け、最後の儀式である。
This is not a joke nor anything of the sort. This is my final bet, my final ritual, the last I'll desire in my life.
この島には今13人を超える人間がいる。つまりこの膨大な数の生贄を容易に満たせるだけの頭数が存在するというわけだ。お前たちは我が儀式の生贄となれ。
Become the sacrifices for my ritual.
金蔵さん、あんたまさかあの話は本気だったのかね。冗談ではなく。
It wasn't a joke? Says Nanjo. Unusually for Nanjo, his face changed color and he stood up and shouted. It seemed this wasn't the first time Nanjo had heard about all this dark talk about 13 sacrifices.
すまんな我が友よ。あれは冗談でも何でもない。我が生涯を賭して最後に挑む儀式でありゲームなのだよ。
It is what I bet my life on. The final ritual, the final game that I will challenge. Again! Now Kinzo's calling it a game that he will challenge. A game. Batter and Beto's game has also been often referred to as a game. You know, their battle. Like I mentioned, I called it a game just a second ago, but it's a battle, right? That has also been kind of mentioned as a game multiple times. A chess game. And metaphorically, in many ways. So, chess pieces, chess game. Okay.
そう、これはゲームだ。
And now he's making it even more clear to us that he sees this as a game. This is a game, okay?
お前たちにとって我が財産を得て島を出ることがゴールならば、それを達する方法は2つしかない。
If gaining my fortune and leaving the island is your goal, then there are only two ways to achieve it.
13人の生贄から逃れ、見事生き残り、今更ながら非分の謎を解いて儀式を止めてみせるか。私を殺し、この儀式を止めてみせるか。この2つしかない。
Okay, so the two ways are successfully survive being chosen as one of the 13 sacrifices and stop the ritual by finally solving the riddle of the epitaph, or kill me and stop the ritual in that manner. Here's the thing. Eva solved the riddle and ended up being the sole survivor in episode 3. Rosa solved the riddle, but I guess because she was the second to solve it, she didn't survive. She died. But Eva solved it, and she was the sole survivor. So and she did take all of his wealth. So I guess the first option does appear to work. However, Eva's family, well, was all dead anyway. So she took all that money, escaped the island, and was just gonna, I don't know, just trashing her life away. So there's that. The second option is to kill him and stop the ritual in that manner. So weird, because Kinzo died in the first Twilight before. I mean, last episode died in the first Twilight, but the ritual did not stop. In fact, even when Eva solved the riddle, the ritual still did not stop. So it did guarantee her life, I guess, because she's the sole survivor, and the inheritance and all that, and the money. But the ritual continued anyway. So clearly, solving the riddle does not stop the ritual. It just secures your survival. And Eva's been the only survivor ever in any episode. So there's that. Killing Kinzo, nobody has accomplished that, I guess, in previous episodes. At least not outside of the sacrifice, as far as we're aware. Maybe not. But I mean, the ritual didn't stop even at any point in time when Kinzo died, which was in episode 1 and episode 3. Episode 3 he died first try. Episode 1 he was found in the boiler room. Episode 2 was the only episode where he was there until the very end. So I think it's interesting because the ritual has not stopped in previous parts when he died, in previous episodes. But okay, let's keep reading for now. By now, it was no longer whispering among those gathered there, but uneasy commotion. Even the siblings had noticed that Kinzo was beginning to act abnormally.
お父さん、少しお疲れのようだ。
Are you a little tired?
元気さ。お父さんは少し酒を。
Genji, has one been drinking at all?
いいえ。親方様はご明晰であらせられます。
No, the master's quite lucid.
悪いけど親父、何を言い出すのかさっぱりだぜ。
Sorry Dad, but I don't have a clue what you started going on about.
親父が愛する魔女を蘇らせるために、どんな怪しげな儀式を追っ始めてもそりゃ自由だぜ。親父の趣味なんだから。だがそいつに巻き込まれて生贄にされるのはまっぴらごめんだぜ。
Dragging me into all that and making me into a sacrifice is just not gonna happen, okay? So Rudolph is abstaining from being a sacrifice.
ルドルフ、お父様の話に口を挟む気？
Eva disapproves. She's saying, Rudolph, who asked you to chip in?
何言ってんだ姉貴。こんな物騒な話にはいそうですかでうなずけるわけねえだろ。
You think I'm gonna sit here nodding my head at this? Are you nuts? Was the ritual Kinzo had mentioned literally the frightening thing it seemed to be? Or was it some kind of test to choose his successor? It seemed that Rudolph had taken it at its disturbing face value, but Eva apparently still believed that it was something like a trial or examination to find the proper next head. I mean, Kinzo already stated clearly, or whatever Eva thinks, but he did state clearly that none of them were going to be the successor, and that he was going to test out the grandchildren to see if any of them were any competence. But Kinzo's response to this was clear.
さて、私からの話は
That's what I
以
mean.
上だ。
Kinzo's response was clear. None of them had any hope of being the next head.
異議も意見も何にも必要はない。
No objections or viewpoints were necessary.
4人の不出来なる息子たちがいたという私の夢が覚めるだけの話なのだ。お前たちにとってこれより目の前で起こることはまさに夢、幻、あるいはこの世のものと思えぬ理解に及ばぬ世界だろう。
To all of you, what will occur now before your very eyes will no doubt seem like a dream, an illusion, an unearthly world that defies understanding. Okay.
しかしそれこそが我が現実。
This is the second time how Kinzo's mentioned that this is his reality. That itself is my reality. Okay? Another my reality mention. Are there different realities? Can my reality be different than yours, Kinzo? Again, this you can bring up the whole Angie discussion. Angie saying that what her reality is, what Maria's reality is, and how Angie should not butt into Maria's reality. So Angie accepts witches and magic and the like because that's Maria's reality, and she's not gonna sit there and deny Maria's reality. It's not her thing. So okay.
お前たちという出来の悪き浅い夢は今こそようやく覚めるのだ。
Now we'll finally awaken from the fleeting and useless dream that all of you are.
さあ、もうゲームは始まっているぞ。これだけいては誰から命を奪えばいいものやら。
The game has already begun. Again, he's calling this a game. And then he says, with this many of you here, I hardly know whose life I should take first. More interesting because, again, I keep saying again, because these things I've mentioned multiple times and I've talked about them multiple times. Whose life I should take first. He's saying that as if he can choose whose life he can take first. As if he can choose how the ritual will go. Kinzo can choose. It's not a roulette, he can choose, apparently, according to him. As of right now.
さらばだ、出来の悪き息子たちよ。そして生涯でただ一度、そして最後に 私の儀式のために役に立て。いでよ、ペンドラゴンの記念兵たちよ。
Arise Pendragon Memorial Troops? What the frick? For the final and only time in your lives, be of use to for my ritual? To me for my ritual? What the hell is Pendragon Memorial Troops? What? He's got other furniture? He's got Pendragon special furniture? As Kinzo raised his arms high like an opera singer and yelled those words as though towards a packed audience. The air shattered like glass, and the figures of 3 people who hadn't been invited to this island appeared regardless? Huh? What the frick? Dance of the Moon Rabbits. Oh! Oh! Oh, Chester Sisters. Okay, but he said 3 people. No, it said 3 people. Chester Sisters are just 2. Chester 45 and Chester 410. Is there a 3rd Chester Sister that I don't know about? Chester 45, okay. Chester 410 right here. Okay. Well, I mean, you know you 2. You're the bunny girls. Okay. The Chester Sisters. We know. You shoot arrows and you shoot 3 people. But there were 3 figures that appeared. Is there a 3rd Chester Sister that I don't know of? What is this? Oh? What? Chester 00? Right here, sir? Ooh, wait. What? Who are you? Also got the United Kingdom flag, or British flag, whatever you wanna call that. The Union Jack, right? Also got your bunny ears. Oh! The bunny ears are cut! I mean, I've already noticed her eye patch. I don't think I need to mention that. But bunny ears cut there. She also has red eyes, long blonde hair. She seems to have a more calm face than the other 2. Because she seems to have a very serious face, and we know she likes to be... She's a very disciplined girl. She likes to be ordered around. And she's more jokey. She's more like, meh, haha, jokey. She seems to be more calm and neutral to things. She has an eye patch and a scar in one of her ears, so maybe she what am I trying to say here? Maybe she's more experienced than the other 2. Chester 00. And she has red clothing. She has more like blue clothing, which does match their hair. She does not have yellow clothing, which would match her hair. She's just got black. Black collar right there and black on her sleeve right there. So she's got blue on hers, which again, cyan or light blue hair. More like light blue hair, or I guess should I say teal hair, colored. She's more like pink hair. She's got yellow hair, again pink, red, similar in color-ish. Teal and blue, dark blue-ish, similar in color. Yellow and black, nah. You know, she had more like of an orange or something. Maybe could have fit better with the yellow. I don't know. But you could argue orange fits. I don't. Whatever. Interesting. All right, Chester 00. We'll read more about her next time. I think this is a good stopping point. I hope you guys have enjoyed this part of Umineko when they cry. We'll read her character file next time as well for Chester 00. So I'll see you guys then. This has been a very fun part of Umineko, as always. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this at least as much as I enjoyed reading it. And I'll see you guys next time for more Umineko. Let's see what these Chester sisters. Well, let's see what Kinzo's playing with these Chester sisters. Is he just gonna shoot the 5? Well, is he just gonna shoot 5 or 6 people? Sorry, 6 people in this room and be done with it? Just be done with the first fight right then and there? Or with his Chester sisters? I don't know. But he's introduced a new one for us. Seems like Kinzo himself can summon the Chester sisters. Which, by the way, were the Chester sisters supposed to be really hard to summon? Right? Whenever teacher summoned them, Runover was all surprised, like, oh, she summoned them. Even Beato had struggles to summon them. Or is that part of the whole lie from Beato that she was trying to become a good witch now? But the fact that Kinzo summons them as well, If you follow what Ronaville's saying, does that mean Kinzo also has vast magic power like Evatrice did and can summon them? Or does it mean that Ronaville really was lying and talking trash in the previous episode when Evatrice summoned them? I don't know, but we'll see what, Kinzo has in store for us with the Chester Sisters next part. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this at least as much as I enjoyed reading it, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright, y'all. Peace.